Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is a morning update. Hey, everyone. So, on this podcast, we talk about the layers of people involved in Jeffrey Epstein's world, right? We talk about the enablers, we talk about the people that protected him as far as in government, and we also talk about those that have been directly implicated by Virginia Roberts. Well, one of those people we've talked about who is not only an enabler, but was also directly implicated by Virginia Roberts is Glenn Dubin. And we know from what we have researched in the past and the evidence that we have seen that Glenn Dubin and his wife, Eva Anderson Dubin, are very, very, very close to Jeffrey Epstein. So much, in fact, so that Jeffrey Epstein supposedly is the godfather of their children. And we all know the sordid ordeal with Jeffrey Epstein wanting to marry their daughter, who was 14 at the time, by the way. Well, add to that the Swedish girl situation in their kitchen, and what the butler, I believe it was, had to say about all of that, and it paints a very, very disgusting picture of Glenn Dubin and his wife. So last night we got the news that Glenn Dubin was retiring from his hedge fund that he had started. And of course, he's saying that the retirement has nothing to do with the Jeffrey Epstein situation, but all of us know better than that, right? Glenn Dubin is definitely on the clock, folks. Definitely on the clock. The dude is definitely involved. I mean, look, Virginia Roberts stated directly that he was one of the people that she was trafficked to. Now, personally, here on this podcast, I believe Virginia Roberts, and if I believe her about one thing, I'm going to believe her about the rest of the things that she says. And it's not, I didn't, jump to a conclusion to believe Virginia Roberts, folks. Look at the evidence that she has provided. Look at the documentation that she has provided. Look at the pictures that she has provided. Look at the corroborating witnesses who corroborate her story. So when Virginia Roberts named these names, these people were launched from enablers into the direct light of actually being involved in the abuse of these young girls, hands-on abuse as opposed to just enabling it. So Glenn Dubin's in a different stratosphere of scumbag, right? He is in a different stratosphere of scumbag, and he deserves to not only step down from this company, but he deserves to be completely and utterly dragged over the coals in the court of public opinion, folks. All right? The things we've heard about Glenn Dubin and what he was up to is just absolutely, positively beyond the pale. And for him to still be associated with Harvard after everything Harvard has went through with this whole entire Jeffrey Epstein situation is absolutely laughable. All of these higher institutions in the country had at least a little something going on with Jeffrey Epstein. And now you have Glenn Dubin, who is not only implicated as one of the biggest enablers, but directly implicated as somebody that abused Virginia Roberts, folks. Point blank, period. That's what he is. That's who he is. And for him to be able to skate by and never have any sort of, moment where he has to accept his role in this is absolutely disgusting to me. I think it's a good first step that he's stepping down from this business, but it's not enough. I think that Dubin certainly needs to be talked to, along with Bill Richardson and the rest of them that Virginia Roberts has said assaulted her. I don't see why those people have not been brought in for questioning yet. I don't understand it. But I will tell you this much. They will not get away with it on the Jeffrey Epstein show. We will call them out. We will call out the enablers. And we will certainly call out those who are implicated in actually abusing these girls. All right? And that's exactly what's going on with Glenn Dubin. I've put him on blast on this podcast before, him and his weird wife, and their weird relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. I've put it all on blast here before, and now some of the chickens are coming home to roost for this man, and that's a good thing, right? So let's hope that this is the beginning of the end for Glenn Dubin in high society. All right, folks, if you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. All right, let's hop into this article. Now, it was originally by Reuters, the article, but we're going to read the New York Post version. All right, so, New York Post. Headline, billionaire Glenn Dubin retiring from hedge fund amid fury over Jeffrey Epstein ties. The article was written by Thornton McHenry, and it was written on January 24th at 9:51 p.m. Billionaire Glenn Dubin, caught in a firestorm over his controversial ties to dead sex predator Jeffrey Epstein, said Friday he's retiring from his hedge fund. See you later, buddy. Hope you fly off into obscurity until it's your time to go to prison, because guess what? You deserve nothing less. The 62-year-old money manager, who along with his wife Eva Anderson Dubin was reportedly a longtime friend of the late pedophile, insisted in a memo to staff that he was leaving his fund Engineers Gate in a pre-planned transition to enable his younger partner Greg Eisner to grow the fund more aggressively. It's always some excuse with these guys, huh? They can never admit defeat. It's like like a fighter who, every time they lose, they have an excuse. Oh, I had a rough camp. Oh, I had the flu before the fight. Oh, my hand was broke. Oh, I have a knee problem. Oh, just take your L and move on, Glenn Dubin. All right, this is the first of many L's coming your way, Glenn Dubin. So take it and move on and get prepared for the firestorm that's coming your way. Don't think you're going to, we're going to miss you, because we're not. You're squarely in the targets for people to criticize, right? You have definitely put yourself in that role, sir. You have no one to blame but yourself. You're the one who hung out with Jeffrey Epstein, and you're the one who allegedly abused Virginia Roberts. So miss us with all of your nonsense, sir. I intend to step down as chairman of Engineers Gate at the end of this month to focus all of my attention and energies on the businesses and charity activities of my family office, Dubin wrote to his staff. In other words, let me try and break that down for you. The walls are closing in. I need to focus on how to defend myself when eventually I get pulled into this case and subpoenaed and maybe even charged. So maybe I should take a step back and focus a little bit on that. That's the way I interpret what he said. In a sense, after 40 years, I am looking forward to transitioning from being an investment manager to an investor. Dubin told Reuters on Friday that his decision had nothing to do with his public ties to Epstein. Yeah, right. This guy is a polished liar, huh, folks? This guy really knows how to spin a tale tall tale spun by Glenn Dubin. He should start a story hour. Story hour with Glenn Dubin. Because he's really tossing a story out there with this one, huh? It has nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I've run this business for 40 years, but all of a sudden I'm going to retire. Yeah, right, bro. Getting chased from that position. You're not fooling anyone, Mr. Dubin. Behind the scenes, however, sources said Dubin's fund was having trouble appeasing its investors in recent months as disappointing returns got coupled with Epstein distractions. Look, I don't think some people aren't aware of what's going on, but the groundswell and the anger towards Jeffrey Epstein and anyone associated with him at this point is it's really growing. And when the public gets knowledge of these things, the public will hold their own court if they have to and find you guilty in the public eye. Because guess what? All the evidence is there, right? All of the evidence is there. And all of this could be alleviated. Mr. Dubin should go into the authorities and talk to the authorities voluntarily if he never did any of this stuff. But no, what they do is they produce these canned statements, and then they expect us just to believe those canned statements. Well, sorry, we're not believing you. This Epstein thing has been toxic for him, said one hedge fund manager. I get wanting to get out while everyone else is doing the family office thing. The fund, which operates out of Dubin's brand new family office space at 55 Hudson Yard, has about $1 billion under management and turned a profit every year since its founding. Lately, however, Engineers Gate has been looking to shift to a more aggressive strategy under Eisner. The cloud over its boss has made it difficult to attract investor interest, sources said. So again, Dubin's lying. This all has to do with them not getting the proper investments anymore. They're not getting the people to give them their money to invest anymore because of the stain of Jeffrey Epstein, folks. That's what it comes down to. Going forward, Glenn Dubin is marred with this stain. He is marred with the stain of Jeffrey Epstein, and not only that, folks, because that would just make him an enabler, right? And that's bad as it is. But Dubin is in a different category. He's in the category of people that have been directly implicated to have abused Virginia Roberts. Okay? Let me say that again for the slow people in the back, okay? For people that aren't really paying attention. He is directly implicated in abusing Virginia Roberts. They were stuck in neutral with his name out front, said a manager at a large quant fund. He can't raise money with this Epstein thing hanging on him. In October, Bloomberg reported that Engineers Gate had 5 total investors, and at least one of them was not happy. The Canada Pension Plan Investment Board was reportedly scrutinizing its investment amid lackluster returns, according to the report. Sources close to Engineers Gate disputed the reporting to the Post. Last August, an explosive defamation suit from 2015 was unsealed in which Epstein accuser Virginia Roberts claimed that the predator farmed her out as a 16-year-old to famous names like Prince Andrew and Alan Dershowitz. Roberts claimed that Dubin was her first powerful client in 2001. Dubin has denied the allegations against him and repeatedly stated that he has evidence to disprove Roberts' story. Again, another one. I have the evidence to disprove the story. Well, let's see it. Let's see it. If somebody was accusing me of something as heinous as this, I'd be on every rooftop you could possibly imagine with nine megaphones claiming my innocence. And you have the evidence here, but you don't provide it. Instead, you go running from your company. I don't buy it. I think that there's a big lie here from Mr. Dubin, and I think that Mr. Dubin knows that it's coming for him next, that the spotlight is definitely going to swing to him soon, and this is all preemptive measures to try and lessen the blow. Named after the entrance to Central Park on East 90th Street, located just blocks from Dubin's $30 million Fifth Avenue mansion, Engineers Gate is Dubin's second act as a hedge fund titan. He sold a majority stake in his first fund, Highbridge Capital, to J.P. Morgan for $1.3 billion in 2004. So, folks, again, he's making it seem like he's stepping down because, it's the right thing to do. We want to be more aggressive. But we all know people like Glenn Dubin only care about power, only care about consolidating their power. There's no way he's stepping down without being pressured to do so. And I have to tell you, folks, as we await Judge Preska's decision to release the other files, the 8,600 documents, I think people like Glenn Dubin and Bill Richardson and Prince Andrew and the rest of them, well, I think they're having some sleepless nights. And I even think that Prince Andrew might even be doing a bit of sweating. All right, folks, if you'd like to contact me, you could do that at Bobbycapucci at protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI at protonmail.com. I'll be back later on today with another couple of episodes. And, of course, we have the Daily Drop. Have to have the Daily Drop. We're on 113 straight Daily Drops, folks. Pretty awesome. Also, if you would like to help support the podcast, you can do that by clicking on the GoFundMe link inside of the description box. Everybody enjoy your Saturday, and I will be back a little bit later.